right, check, 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 check. Just checking latency. I think it's up. So, supposed to have Jim Roseberry on tonight, but he's not around. Anyways, dropping in a pipeline audio number 23. And talk about XR18, the X32 core, and Waves Tune. So, first of all, I picked up an XR18 this week. Remember, I was torn between the X32 rack and the XR18. I needed something for the smaller shows that the kids were doing, and I wanted something simple for mobile recording. And, you know, it's pretty much half of my Midas DL32, so I figured it worked. The only big bummer with the XR18 to me is that it doesn't have AES 50, so you can't really integrate it with the other X32 family of stuff. But that's okay for reasons I'll put in a little bit. I took Vern Grainer's device and pretend that the onboard Wi-Fi is not on there, and I went and got a Linksys. Oh no, sorry, a Netgear AC1200. I saw a bunch of recommendations for that. They said pretty much anything is going to work. I didn't want to have that. I don't know if you guys remember way back when we were doing the Reaper Live thing, the kids used to set up the computer. Sometimes the laptop wouldn't connect. And that was with pretty much state of the art at the time, Wi-Fi and everything else. So I didn't, when they were talking about horror stories with the XR18 not connecting at gigs, I just figured I'll just Velcro or glue a Wi-Fi router to it and just take that. It should be much better. I didn't find an iPhone app for it from Behringer. It looks like there were a few paid iPhone apps. I don't know if they're any good. If you guys let me know if those things are okay, I'd really like to know. Because, you know, the trouble is I was thinking, you know, that right now we're actually using it as the PA system in our big room. So our teachers are using it. They're controlling it from the computer app, but I'm sure they'd like to do it on their phones, but if they're not going to pay for it. So let me know if there's a free iPhone one that works. And are there free Android ones? And how do those? Do they work on the Android tablet only, or are they on the Android phones? I did put the results up on my testing page, you know, where I've been testing mic preamps and DI boxes and everything. It's actually pretty good. If you can't make a good recording on these mic preamps, you're in trouble anyway. And it's not something that more expensive mic preamps are going to save you. They're actually pretty good. They weren't quite as good as the Midas DL32s, but they're close. I don't know that you're going to hear the difference in an ABX test. Probably not, though I'm sure that all the faithful are going to say that it's clear as day until we actually put them on an ABX test. The DI was okay. It wasn't as good as that cheap Rapco or Whirlwind, whatever that is. I think it was Rapco. The analog to digital converter performance was good, you know. So it's all around. It's just a good interface. You know, just like the Midas, it did drop a little bit up at the very high end, less than a decibel. So it's not anything I'd worry about. I'm sure somebody will say that's a wet blanket, but easy enough to EQ your way around it. So one of the things about this is using it as the PA system for our big room for our kids to practice with. Since the XR18 has no real physical outputs, I didn't want it to like jump and feedback. Sometimes we kind of have snowflakes in there, and if you guys have ever seen snowflakes at a gig, if there's feedback, they don't try and correct the problem. They'll just put their hands on their ears and look precious. So I needed a physical control. I didn't trust maybe the computer would disconnect, whatever, that's just too scary. So I'm using the headphone out because it's got a volume knob, and I just told everybody that's the master volume. So just turn that thing up. You can pretty much leave the app set the way it is. And, it's awesome having compression on every channel, EQ, gates, reverb, sends. I mean, this is really, as much as people might hate these things, this is a dream. Yeah, I can go stand out in the crowd and I can mix it and I can add whatever effects I want. Because of what these kids are going to be doing, we're probably going to be using electronic drums. So I'm going to really take advantage of the monitoring and stuff on here. And I'm probably going to take line outs of their guitar junk and send it to the onboard speaker simulator. It has an amplifier. I haven't tried it on the XR18, but I did try it on my Midas M32. And it worked awesome, so I have a feeling it's going to work just as good. But if you guys have a better trick for that, let me know. And so the other thing was, we also got an X32 core in the room. So, really I just wanted an X32 rack, and I wasn't going to get the XR18, but I kind of knew this core was coming. And they don't make the core anymore, but I think they make a Midas version. And if you guys have seen this, this is an X32 with all the features, except for it has no mic preamps and barely any I/O. It's got a monitor out and a headphone out. It does have assignable knobs and switches. I'm not sure just how assignable they are. But what we wanted to happen was if I wasn't here and my room was locked, people could still record out in the big room. So this brings up a couple things. So right now, the X32 core is in a rack with the DL32s right next to the drums. It's on the opposite side of the room from our main computer, because people usually would just plug laptops into the USB output of the Core 32 to record. But if I did want to bring it to the main school computer, can you run along like a 25-foot USB cord? Is that doable with an audio interface, or is that just a no-no? Because, the other thing is I just run the Ethernet cable from the AES-50 jack, and that should work, but then that ruins it for the guys who are putting their laptops right next to the drum set. So I'm not too sure what to do. But it's really cool that I think it's Paul Venato is his name. He very handy guy on the Behringer forum. He's always it's always really helpful. He had a way of setting up the M32 and X32 and the DL32 all together. The Core 32 out there is the clock master, and then the M32 is actually slaving off that. So the Core 32 has to be on, which I know maybe that's dangerous for it or whatever, but better that than the Midas having to be on to me. I don't like leaving all the stuff on in here. So I was surprised at just how good the routing works. And so the other choice is going to be, we could use the X32 core as the PA system for the big room instead. And it has assignable knobs as far as I can tell. So I want to know from you guys, can I really assign those knobs to be a master volume? And is that going to be safe? It does have a headphone out just like the XR18 does. But I'd like to use the monitor out, so I'd like to use a real knob. So I'm not sure. It seemed like I could only assign either the master to the headphones and the monitor out. Is there another way to get to the monitor out? I couldn't find it in the X32 edit app. It seems like it's just going to follow whatever it says in the monitor settings. And if that's true, let me know. I think that'll still work for us. It's a little bit sketchier. But one of the really cool things about using for the PA as well is that I can, without any trouble, that means that I can take a tap off of those and record the live mics that the bands are using out there as a PA system, and anything else that goes into that. So that's actually pretty cool. The X32 has all the same effects as the XR18. I think it actually has more DSP. I'm not sure. So that could work really well. But let me know what you guys think about that setup. So the last thing, I know it's a kind of short one tonight. Like I say, Jim Roseberry, I was hoping to have you on, and hopefully maybe next week. or maybe I can get a hold of you this week. The last thing was Waves Tune. This is a love-hate relationship with this damn thing. I was never really a Waves fan, but I really like the way Waves Tune works. GUI, you can directly enter your pitches, unlike Melodyne. I went and bought Melodyne, and I just can't get the results I want out of it. Even though I really do love how ARA integrates with Reaper, but I just cannot get. You just don't have the control in Melodyne, as far as I can tell. You can't draw the pitches in, and the Waves Tune one just seems to work better for me. But it has a problem. It always had problems. It used to distort when you rendered it. What I like to do is apply effects as new take. So I can always go back to the old item that wasn't tuned and fix it again. So let me show you what's going to happen. There's a couple errors that go on here. So let me just find a chunk of audio and loop it.
The feeling that I knew yesterday. The feeling.
Crazily modify this so it sounds absolutely wacky, so there's not going to be any doubt whether or not the effects on it.
The feeling that I knew yesterday.
Okay, that's pretty extreme, right? So here we go. I am going to apply track take effects to the item as new take. And I'm doing mono output. This is the way I like to tune stuff. This is how I used to do it with auto tune. Here we go. So this will always let you get back to where you were. Okay, so there you go. That's your take. So I want you to see a couple things. So here's where it was. So for you guys that are just listening, it moved ahead in time by about the plug-in delay compensation time, I think, like 100 milliseconds or so. So definitely it moved ahead in time, which is wrong. And now I'm going to play it, and let's see if it applied the effect to it.
The feeling that I knew yesterday.
Nope. So not only did it not apply the effect, it moved it in time, and this is just wrong. Okay, so let me go to limit apply effects render stems to real time, good for some plugins. So if I do that and then I freeze, oh boy, I can't freeze this whole track, it'll take forever. I am going to just duplicate this track and I'll show you. Yeah, that's another thing. Can you freeze single items? I don't think you can, but if you could, it'd be really helpful for this, because man, you're talking about taking a long time. But I'm gonna freeze this track right now. Where are we going? Render freeze tracks. I'm gonna do freeze tracks to mono, render
The feeling that I knew yesterday.
And now I'm going to play that back with the effects off and see if it actually took the effects on the render.
The feeling that I knew yesterday.
Okay, so that works. That's going to be extremely time consuming. It does end up in about the right spot. It looks like it ended up exactly where it was supposed to. There's a bummer if you do this, though, because let's say you got to go fix something. You're going to have to, I think the easiest way I've found is you're going to duplicate the track and then just cut out a little part, and then you're going to render in real time again. But you're going to have to remember to turn your render in real time off for plugins that actually work. So this is something Waves needs to fix. And if there's anything to fix on the Reaper end, it needs to get fixed there too. But it needs to get fixed. Fix this, guys. Come on, please. I was able to find a little bit of information, and I'll read it to you. This is from Gold Reap on the Reaper forum. Thank you, Gold Reap. He sent some stuff to Waves, and they said Waves Tune is able to tune correctly when performing an offline render only when rendering the main output. In order to render separate tracks, you will need to render online. This is the intended behavior and is by design. That's a crappy design. Sorry. You might have had to do that to deal with crappy apps like Pro Tools or whatever, but for the rest of us, just make it work, please. So Gold Reap had a set of circumstances that this will work in. So he says that corrected tuning can be rendered offline, but only if rendering master mix rather than stems or item. To render stems or items correctly, online rendering must be chosen. That means you're rendering at real-time speed, so it's going to take you forever. The item right-click options, glue, render, or apply, track, take effects to items as new take do not render the corrected tuning, even if limit, apply effects, render stems to real-time and preferences is checked. Anticipative effects processing settings don't make any difference. Whether waves tune is a track or item effects doesn't make any difference. So yeah, that really sucks. That really, really, really sucks. Let's fix this. Or let's get another graphical tuning app. You know, I'll take another one. I haven't really tried the new auto tune out. It's really expensive, and it looks like it's going to be as clunky as the old ones were, sadly. I don't know. If you guys know of something, let me know. Something cheap, I hope. I'm not really having a good time with Melodyne because I really want to be able to draw the pitches indirectly if I have to. I do like a lot of things about Melodyne, but that's I really didn't like that. So I think that's oh, you know, it's funny. Sometimes I was actually able to apply effects and have it work, and sometimes my laptop at home renders the tuning fine as well. It's just weird. Yeah, let's please fix this, Waves. And if you guys have any, oh, the other thing, I need to get some speakers for the kids. I love my altos. I love. And even though those are super cheap speakers, I probably don't have that kind of money. I was looking at those Harbingers. Let me know what you guys think. I have the Alto TS210, and I love it. If I had 3 of those, I'd be set. So I was thinking of getting some Harbinger 10s or Harbinger 12s. Let me know. I don't need any DSP on board. I just need a self-powered speakers. And if they can sit like monitors like that, that's great. Like I said, we're probably going to be using electronic drums. And I'm trying to keep the stage volume down, so I'm going to be telling the guitar players to turn their stuff way down. So all that stuff's going to have to go into the monitors. So I guess let me know. Leave some comments, and I'll know what I'm supposed to do. And so thank you guys a lot, and I'll see you next time at Dropping In at Pipeline Audio.